A very, very warm good evening. Arnav Chaudhary here with my evening live on Indian football on my arunfoot YouTube channel. Warm welcome to everybody. And today I wanted to speak about today's match in the Indian Super League. Northeast United beat Odisha FC 3-0. Northeast United, and for them, a good finish. And therefore, I wanted to start with the league table, and here it is. For me, maybe I'll remove one of the banners. This most probably shows us the league table a little in a better way. Northeast United finishing 7th as the best of the rest, 1 point behind Chennai FC, and Odisha finishing 4th. So that means Odisha will take on Kerala Blasters in the ISL playoffs in the first round of games. And therefore, looking forward to hopefully an interesting game which is going to crop up. So this is once more the league table. We've got 2 more matches to play. Tomorrow, FC Goa host Chennai FC. And then on Monday, of course, the blockbuster clash, which is Mohun Bagan Supergiant hosting Mumbai City FC. So that is high as well. Sanskar from my side. Your assumption is that Northeast United Benali is better than the East Bengal coach, which is Carlos Cuadras. Again, league tables never lie. And it's an interesting finish, I would say, if we look at this league table. The second half of the league table is sort of complete. Northeast United finish on 26 points. Punjab FC 24 points ahead of East Bengal. The head-to-head go, of course, Punjab's way after the 4-1 home win in the last game. BFC finish a lowly 10th with 22 points, and Jamshedpur finish 11th on 21 points, and of course Hyderabad with only 1 win this season, which interesting game against Chennai FC, finish on 8 points. So this is sort of the finish. If we go through today's game, in that game, a double strike for Northeast United. First, Parthiv Gogoi in the 12th, and then Nestor Albiaj in the 16th minute, who gave Northeast United a comfortable win, and then Falguni Singh with the first-time injury goal to add on top of that, which meant that they have ensured the victory in the first 45 minutes. In between, a penalty miss by Roy Krishna for Odisha FC, who rested some of their regulars, so that was an interesting one. And therefore, this is sort of the final outcome. And that will be wants to see. Sanskar says Tom Juric comes too late to North East United FC. Maybe not, as you might have also seen and realized. I think he was not fully fit and therefore played a few matches. Therefore, we'll see what happens. Deepak already speaking about Monday. I heard that 69,000 tickets are sold out for Monday. 60, I guess, is the number that you are talking about. And Deepak says, hi enough, and I saw you on the LDC owner on the same platform. I've not seen the entire video, but it would be interesting to see how you reacted to strong opinions. Wondering the chaos if Mumbai might win or draw. It's an interesting one for Mohun Bagan, and as well for their fans, and as well for the police and the security forces in the stadium, because it's an interesting scenario in the league table. And if you see at the top of what I've posted, you see Mumbai City's form, all win. Mohun Bagan, of course, in the third last game had lost to Chennai FC, which of course allowed Chennai FC to get into the playoffs. You see Chennai FC with those results. The only loss in the last 5 was the loss to Hyderabad FC. Otherwise, of course, it might be a different scenario. And we slowly, as Sanskar says, Mumbai City, Mohun Bagan prediction time. Yeah, we'll come to that towards the end. And Arnav is saying today's performance seems like a sneak peek of what's in store for us next season. Benali has already hinted that he's gearing up to assemble a formidable team ready to challenge for the championship. Yeah, it would be interesting to see that who are the players that Northeast United can retain, can keep in their squad, and which are the players that will be moving on, and therefore it's interesting to see that. To me, certainly an interesting scenario in that game. So therefore, interested to see how Northeast United build their team for the next season, because again, Northeast United, one of the formidable, one of the respectable teams in this ISL campaign. The turnaround has been more than just impressive, I would say, in the way that they have been able to turn things around. And again, if we go through this league table last season, they were last, and for me, certainly, so to me, certainly is yeah, an interesting scenario which crops up. You guys want to start talking about Monday? I realize, but still, I keep the league table up for a little bit more, so for everyone to see. This is better. No, I think this one is the most, probably the best one, sort of to keep. So to me, certainly, something to look forward to is Monday. But just to finish off, Benali has done a very, very good job. Not only him, but also Naushad Musa in that team as well. And Deepak saying, how do you see Northeast United FC coaches committing building a team around Parthiv Gogoi? Is Northeast United going to be the ISL club that will go what Indian coaches needs? It'll be interesting to see if they can really build a team around Parthiv Gogoi, if they've got the money to keep Parthiv Gogoi long term, or at some stage if Parthiv Gogoi really becomes the key performer for Northeast United, if then suddenly Mohun Bagan, Mumbai City, or maybe even the other teams come into the market and try to buy. So therefore, that'll be interesting to see how Northeast United are able to do it. I think they have some interesting one. Philippa too, the farewell. He's off. Someone who was one of the key players in a weekend squad last season, but this year it seemed that they had better players. I think Bema Mer was very, very crucial for them in the middle of the park. Great number 6. If you look at Albaich up front, Tom Juric has played his cameo as well, and Sabako at the back. So therefore, very, very strong combination, very, very strong team from Northeast United to get the results that they wanted, and therefore for me, I think an interesting team. Interesting to see how far can they really go. That's going to be the question to me. Deepak saying, as of now, it's Vikram versus Parthiv for me. I think it's not versus. I think it might be with each other. I think that those two kids, and I'm sorry, I'm calling them kids, but those two youngsters are, to me, is I think something that will be interesting to see how, therefore, will be interesting to see. Roshan asking, do you think this match was crucial for Odisha for the playoff race? No, it wasn't, because they couldn't finish third. So it was very, very evident Goa had won the head-to-head. So therefore, nothing to really play for. And therefore, Lobera himself was carded, decided to rest some of his regulars and give some of the other players a chance. And therefore, whenever they will face the Blasters, Odisha will be ready. So therefore, once more, guys, I'm showing you the table in a big way. So at this moment, as it stands, Odisha will host the Blasters in one of the playoff games. Goa is at the moment third, will face Chennai. But Goa, if they win tomorrow against Chennai, so that's an interesting one. Goa, Chennai could be an unofficial doubleheader. If they win tomorrow and Mohun Bagan lose to Mumbai City on Monday, then Goa can be in second spot because they head-to-head Mohun Bagan lose to Goa. Otherwise, so therefore, it's interesting to see how Manolo approaches that game. So, I don't think so. Develop. I don't think that this affects them. I think on the other side, Kerala beating Hyderabad yesterday 3-1, but also showing their problems here. So therefore, those one-off games are different, and therefore will be interesting to see who is really ready for the playoffs and can win their respective matches. And Deepak says players who could develop as potential forwards for your team. Yes, Deepak, yeah, both of them. I think both Vikram and Parthiv. But talking about Parthiv, Shaggy says, aren't we hyping Parthiv a lot? He has yet to be really consistent. Same with Vikram. National team is different game altogether. Shaggy, I couldn't agree more than you. I think with you and this. I think that's an important factor that we have currently is that these guys are um, they will have to perform on a regular basis for their club sides to be able to say, listen, we should be regulars in the national team. So that's for me, I think, a very, very crucial factor that our Indian players need to be performing on a regular basis. And if they don't, then it's a problem. And for me, these guys have to be showing it week in, week out that they can be players to look out for in the Indian Super League, and therefore for me, both Parthiv and Vikram, or any other player for that fact. We spoke a lot about Jay Gupta at the start of the season. Others as well. I think Putea, therefore, for me, is a good example of a consistent performer for quite a while for his club side. That Putea, to me, deserves to be given a chance, and therefore, that's going to be an interesting one as well. Rashid, good evening from my side as well. Good to see you back. And as everyone, those of you who have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to arunfoot and help me reach the first goal of reaching 1,000 followers or subscribers, sorry, on YouTube. And those of you who also follow the channels of my friends at Sports Khabri and Hibain at Curious Harry or Shine on Indian Food and Football. Follow them as well. Give them a follow. Again, we're a community. We're trying to grow the community, so help us grow the community overall within the Indian football family. And of course, not to forget Akshata and the Seeded Sports. And that is something as well. So this is, again, once more, the situation of the league table. To me, I find it very intriguing, very interesting to see how this league table year on year really evolves and develops. This year, of course, the big story, Northeast United and East Bengal, Punjab FC as the newcomers, all three of them in the mix. BFC last year got into the playoffs, but this year couldn't make it. Jamshedpur again had some promise, but we're not just good enough to really get into that. And Hyderabad, of course, had the difficulties. While the big talking point to me would be Chennai FC, the way that Chennai FC have done it once more under an Owen Coyle. I think Chennai FC could be a threat to the other teams in the playoffs to go all the way to the final and maybe even win it. Who knows? They are one of those teams. And on Monday, of course, we have that big game, which is Mohun Bagan Super Giant versus Mumbai City Football Club in regard to who will win the Shield. And I'm biased on that. As someone who was involved with Mumbai City, it's Mumbai City Football Club for me all the way. And I think they are, both the teams are deserving to win the Shield and potentially also win the ISL in the playoffs. But I do feel it's a little bit more for Mumbai City with all that has happened at Mumbai City Football Club. There's Buckingham leaving, returning to Oxford United. Greg Stewart leaving first, then you had Nassau Fayati, then you had Royston Griffiths, leaving as well, and Peter Kratky coming in, and so therefore, Rajit also saying you're with me, you're biased as well. Let's hoping for Mumbai City. So therefore, I think it's a little bit more, even though, of course, Mohun Bagan Super Giant in the way they have been able to turn around things in regard to Habas coming in and especially the return of Yoni Kauko. I think those two things have been very, very crucial in regard to Mohun Bagan Super Giant turning it around. But Habas is, and Habas being sick. So my best of wishes to Senor Habas to get well soon. There's been speculation about what it is, but I'm not going to speculate. So I'm just going to say all my best wishes for Senor Habas to get well soon and return to the football field. The Panthers, I watched the Mohammedan match and then watched still, still not the top two teams are playing together, but still the brand of football way ahead of I-League. And that is what I think Rachid also says, that's the conversation that we need to have. Rachid says, isn't it funny that Chaube Saab talked about I-League not being good enough, then we can start relegation also. It's the same person who decides to reduce the budget of I-League for coming season. It's a tough one, Rachid. I know you have a point in there, but the point with the reality with the AFF at the moment is, in my opinion at least, is that the AFF has to realize it's about what can I justify as an AFF as cost and spending on the I-League, and that I-League cost has been running away for the AFF for quite some time, I feel, and that's something without a sponsor, without someone giving you additional money, it's not going to happen. So that's a reality check that we have had, and so therefore for me it's I think there was another comment, Mohun Bagan won the I-League when it was first division. Now Mohammedan wins it, but it's technically not the same. What's your thought? To me, winning the I-League this way or that way is a big achievement, and to me, yes, in 2020, you would have said at the time officially the I-League was still being said to be the top tier, even though I think in the change in 2019, 2020. So therefore for me, it doesn't fully work. And therefore for me, it's a conversation that we can have, and agree. So therefore for me, it's a huge expenditure for it. And Rachid, I spoke about this yesterday in regard to the meetings. This is, again, we can talk point on point, but to me, the costings of the meetings, which is less than 1 crore in a federation, which is spending, more than 100 times on that, it just doesn't make sense to me. So therefore, that conversation doesn't happen for me. So therefore, I again say that, we need to talk about those things which make sense, and again, ban was a bad year, but again, the reality is that Indian club football has not been able to generate revenues in regard to sponsorships, and that's a reality. It's a question of the ISL. If we look at the national team or I-League or whatever there is, we have no new sponsors who've come in for a certain period of time, and that's a reality. And so therefore, yeah, and again, Shaggy mentions a new AFF roadmap, under 17 World Cup, and all these things, so therefore, let's see what happens. But to me, that's something, and that's something that is something in there. And yeah, good to see that. Yes, Mumbai City, the only one with 5 wins. The ban. Habas has come to training ground of Mohun Bagan today. He's well, and he will be present in the coming year. You mean match? So therefore, yeah, that's a good sign. And if he was there, but I don't know if he's fit enough to be able to coach on Monday. So that's another fact. And before I enter other questions, sorry, Shaggy, I saw that. Yeah, going back on Owen Coyle, will Coyle give a start to Irfan Yadvat or Farooq or Wincy? I feel Irfan Rahim have really made a good claim to win the starting 11. Irfan Yadvat is an out-and-out striker. For me, he's not a winger. So if the coach is thinking about him, and he's been an impact player for 15-20 minutes. So from that thing, I would feel he still stays a substitute player. But again, I never know. The match tomorrow, tomorrow's match is an interesting one, because I feel tomorrow the coach or both coaches could be experimenting with things again, as Lobera did today. to me is it'll be interesting to see if the coaches really play with their best 11 or if they're going to rest players. So therefore, you know, Rachit, no, I've not watched the movie. No opportunities to watch it here, but next time I'm in India, I'd like to watch it certainly. Do you think the absence of Vikram will affect Mumbai? I don't think so. Again, you have Bipin as an alternate impact player, so therefore for me, um, you know, so therefore that's all. Ken Sanskar says, bro, Mumbai City can play with the all left players. Greg, Aghlat, Ike, Roston still finished top four. All the players left. Yeah, that's one thing, and interesting. Um, that's something. Deepak says, I would like to refer with Shaggy. We are not hyping Vikram and Parthiv. We are desperately banking on the options we are left with. Deepak, on one side you have a point, but on the other side, I feel Shaggy has a point because we are to some extent hyping these two players, right? So therefore, for me, that's something that is sort of happening naturally. That the hyping of players happens and happens in Indian football. So therefore, for me, to say that we're not hyping them would be wrong because I feel that there is a certain hype around them. So therefore, I would still say yes, there is a certain level of hype around them, and we have to live with that hype. But on the other side, it's a question of is it the right level of hype, or is it too much, or is it not enough? That's always a question that I think we have, and to me, that's something of a generic question that we need to find a solution to in regard to players, and to me certainly um, it's hype belongs there, certainly, but to me the question is, are we in a position to be able to, are these players in a position to perform to the level of our expectations to get that? And to me, I feel that these players have to do better to be able, so that they perform to the level that we expect them to perform. That's my only thing with all players who are playing, for an India shirt, that or could potentially, and so that's something. Dipan saying, just a question: does Jitin MS deserve a national team call up? He says also Danish Farouk. To me, no. I think they need to be a little bit more consistent. And my concern with the Jitin MS would be the physicality part of the angle. I think Jitin MS is again one of those very talented, technically gifted players. But if he wants to be able to compete at a certain level internationally, he would have to be physically stronger. So for me, I don't see that, and as long as I don't see that, to me that will be my question. If he's able to compete at that level in international football, and that's a challenge which I feel which I find very tough. So therefore, to me, Jitin MS is a bit of a long shot in my opinion. So therefore, again, no, and the same is about Dinesh Farouk. I would say, I'm playing around a little bit with some of the stuff here in StreamYard today, so I'm trying out a few things. And Arijit says, are there any women players who have achieved more fame or played at a higher level than Bachun, Sunil Chitra, even Gurpreet? You have, right? Because Bala Devi has played for Rangers. Manisha is playing regularly in Cyprus. So yes, they have, because Baichung was on and off playing at Bury. Sunil has not played that much at Kansas City Wizards at the time, as they were called, Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Kansas City Sporting, and at Sporting Lisbon, and Gurpreet at Starbucks. So that's so that's why and Shaggy, exactly. That's one of those points to be mentioned. But to be fair, the players like Vikram played well in age group international tournaments. Ishan, yes, and that's I think the difference between Vikram, he's not only played well in age group tournaments, but he was captain of India. Uh, 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 um, so therefore, to me, it's something that we have to sort of, in some sort of form or way, keep in mind, and therefore, always important to remember these kind of things. But it's something that all of these players, will have to see. Which Indian team will get more benefit for piece of the players, men's or women's? I think at the start the men's, but I think even in the women's game, if we look around, especially in the US, there are quite a number of OCI players who could strengthen our women's team as well. So therefore, any OCI player who comes in is a positive addition for our football in general. I think it doesn't matter if it's men's or women's, but I think OCI players, if given a chance, of course, not enough at the moment, but maybe if teams are built around such players and they play forward 7 8 years, they may get there. We want them to. Again, I think a national team, an national team, is not something where you have the time to build something in the long run. I think you need results at some stage. Huh? And so therefore, I don't know. Will be interesting to see. Gopal Chandra says solution is 50 runs in attack, midfield, defense with 10 shots, 2 goals per forwards, 10 tackles, 2 fouls outside the box per defender, 10 passes. This is too rigid. This is too planned. For me, this is, where's the creativity in football? Football is creative solutions. You need to find answers and, does progress really mean only getting the result? Does it mean getting the result, but also there should be visible improvement in gameplay? Rajit, to me, very, very so for me, a national team, any national team, be it India or be it another one, is something where I would say the result matters more than anything else. If the gameplay is good, it's for us as India at the moment, it's about results more than anything else. Beautiful gameplay is a nice add-on. Possession football, all these other things is all an add-on. If I get the right results with something of a bit here and there, I am fine even if we lose matches at the Asian Cup, but we gave the teams a fight. We gave it everything, and that is something which I didn't see. So therefore, yeah. I did ask, is Spear a bit overrated? Philippines, Hong Kong, or Singapore haven't done that bad. Jordan, Qatar, New Zealand have done better with home-based players. Jordan has also had PIOs. Qatar has integrated players of African descent, and New Zealand has also gotten in some players like the Aussies from abroad. So therefore, and Indonesia at the moment is the team to look out for. Thailand as well, who have brought it in. Ridaya talks about Manisha. I agree. Ishana answered a little earlier. I have not. To me, did you get a chance to watch the Mother movie? Were we really as good as people think we were earlier? Or was it the case that others don't take Olympics seriously? Ishan, you raise a very valid point. I haven't seen the movie. That's the first part of the question to answer from my side. The second part from my side to answer here is that in 1950, slowly the world shifted towards the World Cup. I think that's the biggest blunder of the AFF ever in its history, that we did not play the World Cup in 1950. I think we could have been a different team. If I see the Asian Cup, in the early 60s taking off, India finished runners-up in 1964, but after that, we didn't play for 20 years. We still focused on the Olympics. So therefore, yes, that's something which doesn't come across and which is a problem. And we saw this year as well in this whole this season, but last year, this whole point of Asian Games, the craze about it, utterly useless to me. We should have focused on our season rather than the Asian Games, rather send our under-20s. Chante, Akash, and Puya could be next in this to play abroad in foreign leagues. Let's see what happens. Ishan says Rohit Dano has disappeared over the years. He was the striker up front for a lot of time for India and age group teams. Yeah, he played up front, but also played on the wings. So therefore, for me, Rohit, sadly, be it at Hyderabad or be it now at BFC, has not really had his breakthrough. Gopal says relentless attack, occupying rational spaces is European way of playing. Yeah, I agree. But again, we need to find our own ways. Since you couldn't watch Madan, I would tell you that the film may not have been cinematic entertaining, but the fact that PK Banerjee, Goswami, Peter Frank, which generally got their due. Yes, but they are also one of the reasons, to me, why we haven't really progressed. It's a different discussion, but again, we need to look at the now and the future and not look too much at the back. This is something of a problem that a lot of former players do. They look back at, so to say, the times are better. Even I say that to some extent, that things were better 10, 15, 20 years ago at a national team level, even at club level. The ISL has changed a lot of things. So therefore, different conversations happening at different levels. Agree. You knew about the veterans. Can India men's compete with lower level UEFA teams like Israel, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan? Can Jordan, Qatar beat these teams? Other teams like Panama, Honduras, Costa Rica. I think India can beat none of these teams, and it'll be difficult also for the other Asian teams. I think these teams are better. Again, the rankings not always showcase. Sanskar says every year we see if Mumbai City win, shave that coach, either go up to another city football club or home club. So Peter will leave or stay with them. That we'll see. At the moment, I think he's going to be there next season. What according to you, does Mohun Bagan and East Bengal rushed into ISL, or can they do the same like Mohammedan? From Mohun Bagan's perspective, it's a different thing, because they tied up with Mr. Goenka and then came into the ISL. So to me, East Bengal should have taken its time, looked at the right investment, and then should have taken the jump into the ISL. But again, that's my opinion. That's my thought. So therefore, yes, Mohammedan has done it better. Is Northeast building a solid project from your point of view? Yes, Northeast certainly is building a good project, leading with Mandat Tamane. We've seen Benali. We saw, again, they're just 1 point out of the playoffs. So therefore, yeah. RJ says India Kuwait rivalry. Do you think India can play well against them? Also, India capable of drawing Qatar away. I have to see what state India is in June. Can we challenge Kuwait? Can we beat Kuwait at home? I think that's going to be the huge question. The first question to be answered, and the second question to be answered is where can we draw Kuwait? We've done that in the past, yes. So therefore, why should we not be able to draw Kuwait again away from home? But again, not an easy one. That's it. Rachid Nazri also no more the same player after joining Bangalore. He was top player under Manora, was very close to debut for international. He wasn't not close for debut. Rachid used to be a regular under Stephen Constantine for a while. In 17, 18, 19, Holchan Nazri was a regular in the national team. So therefore, for me, so let's see where we go. Do you agree with Arsene Wenger there should be striker-specific times like goalkeeper coaching as a specialized field? I wouldn't say, I do not agree with Arsene Wenger that you need specialized academies. I would rather say you need specialized training for strikers, midfielders, defenders, as with goalkeepers. Because you need to, if I have a strikers academy, is that goal going to be empty, or do I have a robo goalkeeper, or what's going to be the thing? Who's going to play me the passes? This is special sessions. Isn't India taking part in CAFA? We are not CAFA. We are still SAF. Why Odisha is so frustrating to watch? So there's no pace, other only back passing. They are, again, if they go forward, I feel they're a very exciting team to watch. Satka asking what happened to Pune City. The club has been dissolved, so that's something. Is food more important for Indian players with a horse gram diet? Food is always, so therefore for me, it's something. The diet is a very important part. Our FIFA academies and Angola just hype in Indian football context. The FIFA academies could be very, very good if we do our scouting right. At the moment, my concern is that the scouting is not right. Players have been sent back. Players have been sent out because they're overage. The quality of players sent to the FIFA academy were not good enough. This answers to me the question of, are our scouts, our coaches good enough to identify the right level of talent? We are not identifying the right level of talent. So for me, that's something which I feel is something which we could discuss. Um, Igor Simach, good evening from my side as well. I don't know, sir. Do you see I-League trophy? Celebration with the trophy got broken to win. Not have funds for trophy. Also, I mean that trophy has been broken a few times. So therefore, it's not the first time. I guess it's not the last time as well that trophy has sort of been dropped and broken. Shaggy, now any news on the AFF Academy has been quite this year after the FIFA scouts reject AFF prospects? I still don't know if the next round of scouting has actually happened. It was supposed to happen, and therefore, for me, I'm waiting to see when the next set of players are going to join the academy. I know there's some Odisha boys in there. The news of Brandon Fernandez getting promoted to main team is true. Also heard that management will have performance of Diaz and also plan to have him sent to our reserves teams. Okay. Don't know, Rachit, Prasenjit saying though under 20 tournament is happening in my state, which happens to be Chhattisgarh. But the standard football is not up to the mark, but the attendance in stadiums impressed. Really need an ID club. Yeah, will be interesting to see. Kalyan saying I-League need to raise his bar, also reducing I-League award amount shambolic. No, it's not. See, that's the problem that I have. That my view on these things sometimes might be different. It's the same thing as saying, 92 lakhs being spent on meetings. If as an AFF, I don't have enough money, I have to realize I don't have a sponsor. All of these things were increased when there was a sponsor. When Hero came in as a sponsor via the ISL to sponsor all of the AFF competitions plus the national team. If I don't have a sponsor and I don't have the money, then I have to be honest enough to say, listen, I need to reduce the money. Let's be honest. I can't say, listen, you know what? I'm earning 1 rupee, but I'm spending 10. And that is the reality that, to me, that the Satya will bring into the AFF. That reality check. We can't be spending money which we don't have. This is a big problem, Ishan asks, have countries like Nepal and Indonesia progressed technically over the years? They were technically better than us in SAF. What are your thoughts on that? Indonesia is going to get much better because they've been integrating a lot of, especially Dutch players of Indonesian origin into their team. So they will certainly go ahead. So therefore, for me, Nepal has a few players who are better, but overall we should be, and we are better. So therefore, let's see where it goes. I was personally against that ATK thing, and eventually there are several protests for those 3 letters, but ultimately happened. But now everybody realized it was a good thing. Yeah, it's an observation, but again, I think Mr. Goenka has done a lot of things right. I'm fine with the same people asking multiple questions, not a problem. I mean, that's something that's why we're here doing the session, right? To have an interactive session as well. CAFA United team women's not starting next week with India. CAFA was scammed by AFF. I don't know what was discussed. India doesn't have an under 17 women's team at the moment, if I'm right. So therefore, that's the first question: do we have a team? And therefore, I don't know. It's not a scam. I know that there were talks, at least of the under 16, under 19 boys playing, or under 17, under 20 boys playing in their competitions. I don't know if the women's was included in this. Entire nation knows Smriti Mandana, Deepika Sharma. No one but diehard fans or OSPCS will know about Bala Devi, Manisha, Kalyan. Why is this the case? How can football grow? Because that's the reality, right? People. Again, you've mentioned names that I don't know, and honestly, I don't need to care about if I know these people. And that's something, that's the reality. Peter Sagat could be a candidate, but for me, but if he's the best, I don't know. AFF 92 lakhs for meetings, but not for I-League awards. Listen, the point here is, is something, some of these, again, coordination is a very important thing in a federation. I actually hate it. I really hate it when people start picking out these things as fans without understanding how things work. Sorry, guys, I'm being very judgmental on you guys. And it's not on you. We did another platform. We were talking things, right? Where people think they know stuff, but they don't. If these meetings are needed to get things done, people have to fly into Delhi, let's say Delhi or Arunachal or wherever, where you have your AGM. The EXCO needs to meet. A physical meeting, out of my own work experience, a physical meeting can never be replaced by a Zoom or Teams or whatever you want to use as a platform. You need that physical meeting. So therefore, to say, listen, I reduce money on the, on the meeting side and put it, no. We have, in a lot of these things, we've inflated the money, right? So therefore, I personally think that if Satya and his team think it is right to reduce this, to try and reduce the budgets of the AFF, it's a good thing. For me, it's a good thing, and it needs to happen. Dipan says, I was against the ATK thing, and there were huge protests calling which it happened for that. Probably attendance average 30,000 because after all, there is huge emotional connect. Dipan, one thing that I want to say to Mohun Bagan friends, yeah. The reality is, if you look at East Bengal as an example, and their issues which they've had now with 3 sets of investors over the last few years, to tie up with Sanjeev Goenka's group, to be able to run now Mohun Bagan Supergiant, not ATK Mohun Bagan Super, it is still a merged entity. Let's be honest about it. It has a different name to it, but it's still the same thing, right? And without Mr. Goenka's money, Mohun Bagan would be nowhere where we all would like to see. I at least say that because Mohun Bagan is one of the big boys of Indian football. So therefore, for Mohun Bagan, it has been a win-win. And Mr. Goenka should be given that respect, which, in the past no one gave. Now you suddenly see Lucknow Super Giants also wearing a Mohun Bagan kit against KKR tomorrow. So he's giving that respect to the entity of Mohun Bagan Athletic Club from his side, and he's spending the money. So therefore, I think, a little bit more respect should be there for the gentleman. Gopal, do you think inter-school tournament should be held in every town? As more football, the better. So therefore, yes. Can India beat Fiji, New Zealand, or Solomon Islands, Bahrain? Orijit, all these teams would be difficult. So therefore, for me, I wouldn't vouch that we're going to beat all of them. Ranit, your match prediction for sheet final, I think Mumbai City will win. That's my, Sanskar, do you think that OFC had bottled the shield when Mohun Bagan and Mumbai City were behind them? To me, I think in the end, the class worked in the favor of Mumbai City and Mohun Bagan. Odisha have done well. FC Goa, Kerala Blasters, all these clubs can be put into that. Look at the league table. I think that, if you want to see it here in a more clearer way, the top 5. Think about it that the Blasters at some stage were top of the table. Odisha were top of the table. Goa were top of the table. So therefore, those are realities that have been there. Gopal asking cover coaching. Yeah, it's one of the methods which could be there. I've seen AFF member flight details for job is flying business class, not economy. It is in the constitution of the AFF that the president is allowed to travel business as well as stay in a suite in a hotel. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he does it sometimes, maybe he doesn't sometimes. Again, if we want to save a few thousand rupees here and there, right? Again, it's, to me, yeah, would be difficult. That we're gonna pick apart every rupee that they're spending. And it's administration is something which I feel. So for me, yeah, some of it works, some of it doesn't. And again, yeah, it's something. Gopal asking, why doesn't Bangalore now as its World Cup Academy? That's something that you would have to ask BFC, not me. Vignesh, good evening, Vignesh. Sir, you think Shaji back to AFF? Don't know. Could happen, could not happen. Depends on what Supreme Court. I've heard now that the next hearing is supposed to be on the 3rd of May. So therefore, that should be something that we should all then potentially look forward to. Odisha had to tackle the AFC Cup. That's how I guess they fell off the cliff. Yeah, but they fell off, to me is that I think they started to fall off a little earlier, Roshan. I think that towards the end, Odisha again stabilized, but yeah, it certainly was a factor. So that's something. Igor Steven saying, AF spent 6 crores on 750,000 on baby leagues. Your thoughts? I think the baby league structure is said that baby leagues are supposed to be organized locally. And that investment, in my opinion, should be put in by the baby league organizers. Again, we are always looking for the AFF to give everything, money, this, that, everything, and you will run it. No, generate your own money. So for me, to me, it's very, very clear that the 6 crores being spent on the Sandhya Trophy means that all state associations are covered by that. But baby leagues are supposed to be, there was supposed to be, I think, when it was baby leagues, or now it's called Blue Cubs, there were 300 operators pre-COVID. I don't know how many there are at the moment. But to me, it's very, very clear that the local operators of the baby leagues need to be able to generate enough money to try and run those. That's on them. You can't be asking for money all the time from the AFF. I-League 2, IWL, there's too much of grants going out from the AFF. It makes the life of the clubs too easy. They should be working to generate. And the other point to me is, if you as a club cannot generate enough money to sustain yourself at the top level, drop down a level or two or play local football. I mean, sorry to say that is the reality of things. That happens around the world. Survival of the fittest. We are as I always say, we are subsidizing mediocrity. We are not subsidizing quality. We are subsidizing quantity. That's a challenge for next season competing. Yes, Roshan, certainly for all the teams who are competing at AFC competitions next season, that's going to be the thing. So therefore, always difficult. Dipan says, yes or no, sir. Now everybody understood what Konka sir have done, and it's a huge commendable job. Huge respect from all the fans, really, and his love for the club is also very much. Exactly. That is something. And this is something which needs to be understood, that in the past it was Vijay Mallya, both for East Bengal and both for, East Bengal and for Mohun Bagan. And therefore, you need these people. East Bengal and Mohun Bagan cannot live in an own bubble and say, listen, we can survive and run. No, this has been the case since the 90s, that you've had people putting in a lot of money for these clubs to be operating at the top level of Indian football. That's the reality. Ramesh Nandi says, hi, and good to see you again. Do you remember me or forgot? Ramesh, I cannot place you at the moment. Maybe you can enlighten me about that. I know of a Brazilian program called B-Foot. No, Gopal. So therefore, it's not. What is AFF doing with I-League? No proper broadcast, no marketing, reducing I-League award amounts. So what are they spending money? Because we also don't have youth teams where they spend it. The AFF is giving grants to the clubs in regard to travel and spend and all that stuff. So therefore, there's a lot of money that the AFF is giving the clubs. So therefore, um, the reality is that the federation is trying to run on the money that they have, and they have to cut down. They're cutting it down. A sponsor comes in tomorrow with, I don't know, 20, 30 crores, the situation changes completely. But as long as that, and broadcasters are not willing to put in money. The AFF has to get that broadcast, so therefore, yeah, so therefore, that's a reality. So um, the youth teams in the last few years have been running a lot on government grants, which have literally dried up. So that's a question I think that the president should be asking the government. It's like, why is AFF, Indian football, not getting the grants that we need? That should be a question asked to the sports ministry. It should be even a question maybe asked to the prime minister. Why is football getting a stepmotherly treatment? And I think Maidan as a movie with all the PR of Bollywood and everything, maybe a reason of maybe we're using Ajay Devgan trying to push the match. I don't know. Have Roman Philippa to retire today? He's leaving Northeast United. I don't know if he'll retire completely, but to me, I think that Roman Philippa too might be still playing at the lower level in France when he goes back. That would be, when will Mohun Bagan ATK merge a break? At the moment, I don't see any break because I think both sides are now happy after ATK Mohun Bagan have been renamed as Mohun Bagan Super Giant. Shaggy says ACL Women's Championship format announced yesterday. OFC Women's will be the only team playing ACL top tier next season from India. Hope they will get direct entry to that. That will be interesting to see with our rankings. I don't know if that will be possible, Shaggy, but for OFC, the AFF have considered that into their factoring in. As how they built the season, the next season that one of the Indian clubs will be part of the AFC Women's Champions League. So that's, I think, a big step for Indian football as well, that we'll have a Champions League club from India playing and attending. One thing, again, as I always do, before I forget, as always, those of you who are not, I know a lot of you are, those of you who are not, please like these videos, share these videos, subscribe to arunfoot here on YouTube, on my other social medias as well, and of course help me move towards 1,000 followers. That's the first aim, and then grow this community further. And thanks for that as always. What's your I-League 2, considering I-League promotion pretty intense now since Sporting, Goa and Sudeva sneaked in, and Bangalore United and Dempo are struggling? Yeah, it's an interesting 5 teams with a chance with promotion in a small, again, that's my reasoning, a smaller, more competitive league than rather blowing up the leagues. In India, we're not ready for big top leagues. I at least feel. I don't know what you guys think, but I feel we are not ready for big leagues of 16 team leagues or 14 team leagues because that's why to me I-League 2 with just 8 teams or 7 teams in the IWL, maybe smaller compact leagues are better, and you realize the problems that the ISL is facing this season. That the ISL normally ending in the middle of March before the IPL starts, and this season it's spilling not only over into April, it's spilling over into May. 4th of May has been announced as the date for the final. So therefore, for me, the heat now in April across large parts of India are a problem. We discussed the other day about kickoff timings as well. So therefore, you will have to find individual solutions, and that's going to be very, very difficult in regard to where this whole future sort of lies in regard to Indian club football. We have to realize April, May, very, very hot, and then June onwards, in some states up to October, we have the monsoons. So therefore, let's see what happens. Our footballers taught how to deal with disappointments. in certain teams, certainly, certain clubs, certainly, but I don't know if that's been, what's happening. Ishan, have you been privy to training session of Bayern Munich? Any particularly interesting then that you observed? Yes, I have attended multiple Bayern Munich sessions over the years, but again, I'm not going to talk about what they do or don't do. So yeah, that is that. Arijit asks, when will be the next SAF men's and women's events to be held? I have not heard anything. To me, I think it's something which is will be interesting to see where things go. I don't. You're asking a good question. I don't. SAF men's, I think, could be next year, but women's, I don't know when it's going to happen. Is that much professional tournament to develop technical players? Again, I think the importance is that something like an RFDL is happening, that you have competition. I think the real competition, so to me, it's good that we have Reliance Foundation Development League that gives competitive matches to the clubs and their players. How do you rate Indian women's team matches Turkish Cup compared to men's at Asia Cup or qualifiers? Arijit, I think it's very difficult to compare men's and women's football. I think that's the first thing. So for me is always unfair. And again, Asian Cup was the top level of football that our men's will play, and the Turkish Cup was just Turkish Women's Cup was just a friendly tournament. So therefore, I think comparing it will be difficult. Debru says for Mumbai, it will be a match of mental strength. If they can control the crowd, they can win. I think Mumbai City has the mental strength, and they've shown it multiple times over the years. I think also the comeback this season shows also the physical game that they had against Mohun Bagan in Mumbai in the first leg, which Mumbai City won 2-1. So therefore, that's going. Shaggy with an observation. Women's will be last quarter. Okay, interesting. Shaggy, if you know also where it's going to be held, then let us know. The Bayern IPL literally makes me sleep. I don't know how can people watch it, and even 50 over cricket also gives you that much of entertainment 2 hours. Again, that's your observation. That's most of us are observations in regard to ISL or Indian football, and therefore, that's something again. And observation from Shaggy again about the Asian Women's Champions League format. As I said, guys, like these videos, share these videos. Please subscribe to arunfoot, and as always, to grow this community, grow the followership as well. So therefore, as always, thanks for that, and and therefore, it's going to be very interesting how these discussions go on. Tomorrow again we have FC Goa versus Chennai FC, and I'll do also a little bit of a preview of Monday's Mumbai City versus Mohun Bagan game, and on the other side, of course, looking forward to Monday. I think all of us are looking forward to Monday. Also, the question to you guys, and maybe answer it here or answer it later as comments under this video. Would you like to have a pre-match discussion? Normally we do post-match discussions, or do you want on Monday to have a pre-match discussion? And then let's see. Deepan, you want to watch along? I don't know if I can do a watch along, or if I would rather, on Monday. So therefore, I'm not sure if I can do it. I'll try and do it, but I'm rather thinking of doing a pre-match and a post-match discussion. So therefore, let's see what will be done on Monday. But tomorrow again, let's have a discussion regarding the match on Monday, and also discuss tomorrow's game, FC Goa versus Chennai FC. Interesting one again, because if Goa are unable to win, it would mean that Goa and Chennai would meet at the same venue in a few days. So therefore, in the playoffs. So therefore, let's see. As it asks, Bengaluru once reached final of Asian Cup or AFC Cup rather. Why are they struggling ourselves? Because at the moment it's no longer the team, right? And Sunil is also struggling. One of the reasons. So therefore, that's also why they're not doing as well as they could. Sanskar asking Yokohama Japanese club players who can join. Again, I don't know. I don't think that there are players at the moment at the Yokohama Marinos, sorry to pronounce it properly, who will join Mumbai City FC. So we'll have to wait and watch what they are, what happens. Yeah, just crossed an hour of this live. Once again, guys, thanks a lot for joining in. Let's grow the community. Let more people join in. It's great to discuss Indian football with you guys. And like this video, share video, not only this, but the rest also. I made a video, a short one on Chennai qualifying for the playoffs. And I'll be back tomorrow with another discussion after the Chennai visit to FC Goa, and of course also previewing Mohun Bagan Super Giant versus Mumbai City Football Club on Monday. So therefore, looking forward to that. And Sanskar says Mumbai City, Mohun Bagan draw. Who will win the Shield? Mumbai City, because Mumbai City have 2 more points than Mohun Bagan. Thanks once again, guys. As I said, always like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow night with another live. This is Naval Chaudhary, arunfoot, signing off. Bye for now.